Hello, welcome back to the next episode of Healing Histamine. You are in my office with me this morning. It is currently Monday, the 19th of Jan. Oh my god, I have so much on this week, but I just wanted to also keep you in the loop with like how this is going for me. So this is like a little intro to my second week, I want to say, into my healing histamine or like having a low histamine diet. I am also cycle day 27 today. Surprisingly energized, which actually, fun fact for you all, is not uncommon. Like the day before we bleed or a couple of days out from our bleed, we kind of get this like surge of energy. So I'm kind of feeling that. It's also new moon in Capricorn. We're also leading into, just a few little updates for you. We're also leading into the final shed of the snake year. So we're coming into the Chinese New Year, which is on February 17th. That is when the year of the horse officially begins, which I'm really definitely feeling the, I don't want to say debris, but almost like the void. Like we're very much in the void of that and still kind of closing out, the 2025 chapter in a sense, even though a new calendar year has begun. Technically speaking, there once was 13 months in a year, not 12. So that's kind of why I can feel a bit like disconnected or disjointed, like when we come into a new year, especially for us women as well. So I bleed around and often with the new moon. That's been something that I've synced with for a little while now. Some women also bleed with a full moon or a waxing or waning moon, and there is no right or wrong. It's just really dependent on where you're at in your life and life transitions and what life's really calling you into and what you're calling in. So yeah, I just wanted to start the video here and give you a little bit of an update. Yesterday, I didn't film yesterday. It was Sunday and I just kind of wanted to spend the day not looking at a camera, not looking at a screen. I did put some updates on my Instagram. If you follow me on Instagram, I'll put my my @ here. It's @ Womb Imprints on Instagram. I'm also on TikTok at I think it's Britt.cyclecoach over on TikTok. But you'll be able to find me there where I share like kind of daily updates. And I've also added a highlight to my Instagram as well so that we can, well, if my community ever wants to refer back to things that I'm sharing, like you can kind of find it within that gut health highlight. But yesterday was rough for me. When I'm in luteal, around this time, I start to really crave like sugary foods, junk food, and a few reasons why this happens for me. First of all, a few reasons why this happens for me. One, obviously there's a lot going on in the body. Two, I also have a connection, an emotional connection to food and food, giving me this sense of comfort. And so I've really had to sit with like the frustration around like not like really having to not reach for that stuff. I don't love calling what I'm doing a diet because diets go to die completely, in my opinion. I know, I just want to kind of conjure up another word for it. I just think histamine, low histamine fuel, if you will, like the way that I'm fueling my body is very different in this phase to how I would fuel it in any other phase. Positive things that have come of that though, I have a lot less brain fog that I'm experiencing. I feel a lot more clarity in my mind. And look, they say the gut is the second brain. And honestly, there is no denying that. I feel less scattered. I feel less overwhelmed. My PMDD cycle signs and symptoms are far, far less than what I usually experience. I really don't feel like I've experienced any since eating this way for the last like 5 days, which is crazy to note. And I've been jotting that down in my cycle journal actually, because I just cannot, you can't make it up. When you start to make these changes and experience these subtle shifts in sustainable change that you're making, like it really is the thing that keeps you on that path. It really is the thing that keeps you motivated. Because I was saying to my man yesterday, I was really struggling. Like we went through the grocery shop again to get some more meat and just some other things we needed for our food. And I was looking at all these chocolate bars and I was like, oh my God, like I just want that so bad. I want that so bad, but I also know consciously how that's going to make my gut feel. I know how that's going to make me feel emotionally when I've consumed something that I know full well I could have steered clear of. So I've been really proud of my efforts, but like I actually feel somewhat emotional even talking to you guys about it, because it's like, wow, food really became a vice for me in terms of like avoiding things that I didn't want to feel, or if I was feeling the void and really feeling the intensity of the void, I would reach for these things that, yeah, sure, momentarily would make me feel better. And honestly, I say better, right? I would get that sense of like comfort or whatever, but 15 minutes, half an hour, 2 hours later, I'm like in physical pain and I look like I'm 6 months pregnant, because my gut is like, what are you doing, bitch? What are you doing? So it's been hard mentally to not give in to the comfort and the cravings. And I know that my blood sugar levels were probably low, so I ended up having like honey, organic honey on my veggies last night to just like kind of spike my blood sugar, and I feel much better for that today. I also was just getting really cranky before, because my whole thing is like having to thaw the meat that I'm eating, cook the food. Like I can't just go and pull from the fridge for convenience. And I think I've conditioned myself to that convenience. I think as a mom as well, I've also conditioned myself to that convenience of like just eating my kids' leftovers, or, we all do it, seriously. Eating my kids' leftovers, which is just oftentimes not nutritious enough, or it's not even enough food, period, right? Or just snacking constantly through the day, which also is not good, rather than sitting down and actually enjoying a freaking meal, actually nourishing my body, which I have mixed feelings about, fam, because I get really sad that I like allowed myself to neglect myself in that way and not nourish my body and brain and gut and nervous system and like all the other systems of my body. And then I also just go, I try to make myself not feel too bad, because it's like I also was in this like state of survival, like I'm a mum of two young boys, one of whom has been diagnosed autistic and ADHD. I'm very certain my other son is the same, because I am also the same, and so is my partner Riley. So there's kind of all these undercurrents and undertones and things that kind of pushed me into that survival mode, and really my main focus was my kids and their mental health and their gut health, and like, so I kind of just forgot about myself in the process of that. And yeah, it's really easy to lose yourself within that, and it's really hard to come back from that. Like I find it really hard to come back from that sometimes, but I'm doing it. I'm showing up. I really didn't even want to be here filming today, but I'm like, I'm committed to this. I asked my community if they wanted me to share. I'm committed to sharing. I think it's important that I show up in this way that allows you to see, yes, I'm a coach. Yes, I support and help women, but I'm also human too, and I'm also a woman too, and I also am learning to navigate these challenges just as much as my clients, just as much as, my own profound personal way. And I think we can all really learn a lot from each other's lived experience. Some people may resonate, some people may not, and that's fine too, but I think there's so much power in sharing our story. And, for a really long time, women weren't allowed to share their stories. Men wrote on behalf of women's stories. So I think there's a reclamation within that as well. And also there's so much strength and vulnerability in allowing people to see your heart, to see what is challenging you, and to support you in that, and also inspire them. Like that's really what I've always shared for, is to not just, I don't share for, sympathy or any of those things, or validation. Like of course we're human, we want to be heard, we want to be seen, we want the validation. That's a normal human experience to have. But I mean, my thing is like, I want to open so vulnerably and crack my heart open, so it's an invitation for other women to do the same. you know, and really be that permission slip. And not that you need a permission slip, but sometimes just knowing that someone else out there is having a similar experience to us makes us feel so much or far less alone, less isolated, and we kind of go, oh my God, like, she gets it. I thought I was alone in that. I thought I was the only person on the planet, which is crazy, right? But we often think that, like, I'm the only one experiencing this because we're so in it. And when we're so in it, we can't really see outside of it. So I'm kind of happy to be, not even kind of happy, I am happy to be on the other side of the things I've been going through and what's been challenging me for, I would say, the last 3 years. It's been really quite the journey. And I feel like I'm just kind of peeking out the other side now, getting ready to step back through and back over that threshold into joy, into ease, into flow, into all of these beautiful things, and really connecting with my body again and really creating that space and a strong relationship with myself. So thank you for being here and coming along for the ride, because I feel like, yeah, it's going to be one to follow, that's for sure. So yeah, I just wanted to do a wee little check-in with everyone. Yeah, I did get a little bit cranky before about having to come in full circle. Sorry, I know I got distracted, went off on a tangent, but I got cranky about having to cook my meal for myself. And I didn't want turkey mince because I've had turkey mince for the last 5 days. Snapped at my man a little bit. Oops, a daisy. Also very much luteal, but I was like, he's like, why are you mad? I was like, I don't want to eat this. I'm sick of eating this. The dishes aren't done, the washing's not done. It wasn't about the washing or the dishes or any of that, really. It was about the fact that I was really frustrated I couldn't just pull for convenience. And, you know, and what that's actually forcing me to do is create better habits in the form of balance and harmony in my life, in my daily life, because I'm a bit of a workaholic and I get sucked into my computer, and it's like I'm going. All of a sudden it's 5 p.m. Maybe I haven't eaten, haven't stopped to have lunch, yeah. I could go on, but it's about creating that healthy balance with, okay, we work, now we're eating. The body needs fuel. You want to absorb information, you want to share information, your brain fucking needs the fuel, your gut needs the fuel. So yeah, I'm really being reminded of a slowness that I feel like I don't often gift myself. And so that's the biggest lesson at the moment for me, is like the slowness of prepping a meal, the slowness of cooking the meal, the you know, the not rushing, and the not treating it as an inconvenience, like really treating it as a practice, as a fucking practice, as an intentional practice for how I nourish my body. And that's really, over the past 5 days, what has arisen for me. So yeah, I hope me sharing this in the beginning of the video helps some of you. And that's, yeah, just where I'm at right now. So I'll check in over the course of the week and show you some of the meals that I'm prepping, some of the fun snacks that I've been having, little sweet treats I've been creating, really healthy ones as well. And yeah, I can maybe even do one episode just on potentially recipes or meal, you know, the meals that I'm cooking or whatever. So definitely interact with, you know, the videos and the series throughout the course of this. You know, like, share, comment what you want to see more of, maybe a takeaway or something that really hit home for you that I've shared. Yeah, I would appreciate it, because I'm really also about, yeah, inspiring you, educating you, but also creating a sense of community. And yeah, I want you to feel me as much as I feel all of you. So yeah, don't be shy. Anyway, I'm going to get back to work, but I just wanted to check in, and I will, yeah, see you throughout the course of this episode. Big love. What's up, guys? So it's currently Tuesday. It's about 11:03 in the morning. I'm fucking starving, and I'm really craving sweet shit still. I am trying to get some ideas of what to make for lunch, because I'm so sick of eating the same shit. Like, I'm honestly sick of it at this point, and it's making me angry. So I think I'm going to do turkey mince patties for lunch and make like a little turkey style burger. And then I'm also trying to find some, like, I might do some sweet potato fries with that in the air fryer. And then I'm also trying to find a recipe for like a sweet treat, because I'm about to like actually even just have a teaspoon of fucking organic honey just to like fuck that craving off, because I'm struggling. But I'm also very hungry right now, so that might go away when I eat like good quality food as well. It is taking everything in me not to just like go and buy a block of chocolate. But I know that's just gonna harm all the work that I've done. It's not worth it. It's actually not worth it. Why is that not focusing? Hello? Thank you. So yeah, anyway, I'll show you what I'm gonna make. Like as I'm kind of making it, I'll just show snippets, you know? Nothing really else to report. Like I'm definitely far less bloated. That is for certain. It's just, I think, obviously about losing some weight now and kind of toning. But I definitely am not feeling as bloated, and even being luteal, like I feel like I'm not as bloated as what I normally am. I just am starting to feel really fucking irritable, to be honest. And like, I think that's where I'm leaning towards wanting that comfort food, which, you know, I spoke about earlier in the video. So anyway, that's that. Let me get to cooking and stop talking, or I'm literally gonna pass out. Good morning. It is currently Saturday. I have missed a few days this week because I've been bleeding and I've just been a bit like, honestly, so exhausted and focused on a lot of other things in the content creation realm, like with my business and stuff. So like I've been forgetting to update you guys, but I did record some footage on day one of my bleed, and it was really powerful, and I went to edit it yesterday, and turns out it was recording in the wrong mode, so there was no audio. So that's fun. That's okay though. I just have to, there has to be a reason, right? You weren't meant to see it. So I'll just give you a little update now while I make my breakfast. What's been happening this week? Look, I have been feeling naturally quite low energy because I've been bleeding. I've been struggling with like sugar cravings a bit, I won't lie. I have also been, and you know what, leading into my next bleed, I think I've learned this lesson. I really need to prep as much as I can, which I mean is really tricky when you're doing what I'm doing in terms of like, you know, cooking your food fresh and like all of that stuff. But I need to figure out a more sustainable way to do that, I feel, especially when I am bleeding and I'm just like, cooking is just not it. Although what I've tried to come back to, which I remember mentioning this, I'm just having a, okay, I was just checking the mic was on because I was like, if I'm going to stand here and record and this is not going to have any sound, I'm going to fucking flip. I'm just making, FYI, I'm just making some of my own like homemade hash browns to have for breakfast. I'm going to also cook some chicken in ghee, garlic, and kind of have that as protein for my brekkie. I'm also a bit funny about the fact of like eating chicken and those kinds of meals in the morning. Like, I don't know why. It's like, that's not breakfast, but like it can be. Like, who says it can't, right? Anyway, it's just a me thing. So yeah. I'm just a bit slow in my brain right now, but I got to a point a couple of days ago where like I really wanted sugar, I really wanted coffee, I really wanted all these things that I guess are definitely a vice for me when it comes to, you know, this point of my cycle and just wanting to kind of indulge a little. My gut is actually really not bloated at all. I'm so incredibly surprised. I did wake up feeling a little bit nauseous, and I think the reason I woke up feeling nauseous today was because I actually ate really late at night last night, and I don't normally do that. The only reason was because I taught a dance class, and then I come home and I was fucking starving. So I ate some sweet potato, and then I just, my man fried up a couple of eggs for me, and I had those. And I don't know, I just, even now, I'm just like, oh, I can feel a little bit of like inflammation here. Like that really hurts there to press on in my tummy. And like, I feel like that's what's contributing to the nausea. So yeah, the videos that didn't have audio, I basically was just updating you on certain stresses in my life and things that have been contributing to that, and how happy I was to have received my bleed after a 28-day cycle, because that's very rare for me. Like, I've not had that kind of a cycle for at least 3 years. My cycles became really irregular. And in the video, I was actually bawling my bloody eyes out. It was actually really vulnerable, and I would have loved for you to see it, but that's okay. Stress, and how stress contributes to the health of our cycle, to our health overall, to weight gain, to weight loss for some women. Like, stress is really the leading cause of all illness and disease in the body, right? So for me, it was really, and I mentioned this in my, like, the video that didn't record, but my eldest son is autistic. And so we've been on quite the journey for the past little while. And by little while, I mean a few years, if not more than that, where we've been seeking out therapies and we've been doing all these things to support and help him. And I feel like within that, I really lost myself. I really started to stress, and I was worried, and I was, my nervous system was fairly disrupted, because for those that have neurospicy children, it can just be 0 to 1,000, and it can happen like that. And the trigger can be literally anything. No 2 days are the same. Like, no 2 days are the same for anybody, but like, it was just at the point where I was at my absolute wit's end with it. I just couldn't tell you the level of stress. So thankfully, the beginning of last year, we got into a certain therapy that we got to do together for 17 weeks. We were a part of a program, and that took the pressure off me a little bit. And then I also sought out a therapist as well for the both of us, and it just changed the game. So I feel like that alone has reduced my stress level. But it's also just the day-to-day, and being a mom and having things that I worry about when it comes to my kids, and it's constant. And so it's not all bad though, but I just think like that is a major contributing factor for me, and there's no denying that when it comes to my health, that being that mama bear and being stressed and worried about my kids' mental health and how they're growing up in the world, and how I was raised, and like that really shines light on those things. So that's been quite a journey, but I also feel like that was a major thing that contributed to my nervous system being so dysregulated and disrupted, and just like, I just got to the point where I was like so empty and numb, and just like trying to get through every single day, that I was like just neglecting, full self-neglect, like to the point where I was like, I have nothing left at the end of the day to give to myself. I have nothing at the beginning of the day to get to myself, because it's like it begins before you even open your eyes. My youngest hasn't slept for his whole existence, basically. He's almost 5. He's getting better, but it began 2-hour wake-ups through the night when he was a bub. And that was past newborn phase. It was sometimes like every hour. And, it was so much in such a short space of time on my nervous system. And then from that point, like he would wake up at 3 a.m. and that was just his wake up time. 3 a.m. every single day, ready to go, wouldn't go back to sleep, wouldn't resettle. It was just freaking, that was the time. So then on top of that, not sleeping, and also having things, to deal with and navigate. And both my boys are very, very different personalities, like, of course. So yeah, it's just been a lot of that. It's been a lot of that that's been like a main contributor to my health. Now that I've got my son's, I guess, therapies and things have been put in place now for him, I feel a lot less stress. I also feel like I've now got like a team of incredible people around me to help support those harder days. because some days are really hard. And yeah, I just think like the more I focus on my own health, the better I can show up for them. And, you know, the more I show them as well that it's like important to care for yourself. You know, it's important to eat healthy food. It's important to look after our brain. It's important to look after our gut. Like, and teach them as well the knowledge that I have and the things that I know. So it's, you know, one thing I learned last year in our therapy and the program that we're in is like it's all the modeling. It's how you model these things to them. So most of the time too, which is the triggering part, all those behaviors that you see, like they're coming from somewhere, right? And I know you can't fully self-blame because they're also learning and they're pushing boundaries and all of the things, but you know, I don't keep my cool all the time. So there's things that they've also picked up from me, right? And so it's just about owning my shit and knowing when I fuck up and just making sure they know that too. And I apologize for that and all those things. So anyway, I'm going off on a tangent, but it is very stressful. And then when you add the layer of like excessive caffeine consumption to kind of like fuel you and get you through the day, and like it puts more pressure on your adrenals, and then that puts pressure on your endocrine system, and then the reproductive system's like, okay, sorry, we're closed for business because like what the fuck are you doing to us, right? So yeah, it's all those little things that I think I want to kind of anchor into this series for you as well, is like the educational standpoint. It's like, yeah, we hear a lot about balance and we hear a lot about these things, but at the end of the day, you know, it's not about going cold turkey either. It's not about like, I mean, for this I had to because my gut was just absolutely fucked. I needed to just like give it a break. I've done no coffee stints over and over and over again, and then somehow just it creeps back in. But I think I've come to the definitive decision, just like I have with alcohol, that it's just not for me. It's not for me. The day is done. I don't need to have that anymore. You know, what I'm doing now is also going to feed into, you know, my perimenopause and menopausal stages of my life. And how I support myself now is ultimately going to be how that impacts me, or how I experience that and how I move through those transitions. And it's the same from menarche to the peak of your life, into from maiden to mother. It's the same. How it is at the beginning is going to affect the rest of the cycle, life cycle, you know, seed cycle, day, 24-hour day cycle, like how we, like, and that's the thing, you know, that with like in the beginning of the day, what you choose to do in the beginning of the day. Like if you just pick up your phone straight away and you're doom scrolling and you're giving your brain that dopamine hit and you're not getting outside and getting that natural light, not only is it fucking the endocrine system, impacting your circadian rhythm as well, because it's artificial blue light, but that sets you up then for the rest of the day versus getting up, journaling, going outside, touching grass, doing a breath, like connecting in with your body, like simple, just like touching of the body and going like, fuck yes, I'm awake, I'm landed back in my body to experience another day. That in and of itself is enough for me, right? Which sometimes, yes, if you're a mum, is often hard because you have to get up and you've got demands and like that is all happening before you even get a chance to land in your body. But then what I would suggest, and something that I do, is like I feed them, they're the main priority, and then they're kind of out of my hair. I can go and take a minute to just like breathe and drop in after that. So yeah, friends, that's just kind of what I wanted to bring this morning, and just like a wee little update. But I'm cycle day 4 today. I'm still bleeding, which is amazing. And I'm even recognizing that within this cycle as well. Not only did I have a 28-day cycle, beautiful, for me, like that 35 days consistently might be your normal, 25 days consistently might be your normal, so please don't take that, my cycle isn't 28 days, what's wrong? Nothing, as long as it's not irregular. So to have that for me is really powerful. And then, because it's as if my body has just been sighing this relief because I've made these small changes, right? Just in this one cycle, moving my body more, I'm eating better. So I feel like I'm bleeding more. There's more flow, less stagnation, right? So I used to get to about day 3 and my flow would kind of come to a halt. And then I would kind of have a little bit more on day 4, but it was not red blood still. It was more brown, which also healthy cycle length is anywhere from like 3 to 5 days. We're kind of pushing it going 7 days. 3 to 5 is like, you know, so if you only have a 3-day cycle, but it's consistent in flow and that's what it is for you, every single bleed, beautiful. But for me, I've noticed this one has kind of lengthened the amount of blood that is flowing and that has been released, which feels actually really good because it's like, okay, I've actually bled consistently for 4 days, which is beautiful. And I have a feeling it'll start to taper off today. I am still feeling really tired, probably just because I didn't have the best sleep, but I do feel good. I feel good in my body. I feel good with how I'm nourishing it. I feel good with how I'm moving. So I think today I've actually also had just a final little update. I trained Monday when I had that boost of energy, which is, it's ironic now looking back because it's like, of course, like I was going to bleed the next day because oftentimes about 24 to 48 hours before you'll bleed, like the day before, you'll get this random surge of energy. So take note of that. If you ever notice like, oh, I could fucking run like 5K, probably don't do that. But like, if you're like nesting, it's like a nesting energy for people in my space that have ever been pregnant. It's like right before you're about to go into labor and you're like, I got to get all my shit together. I got to get all my ducks in a row. Like you're nesting, you're packing things away. The same energy comes pre-bleed. So it's like we have this one little day where we're just like, oh my God, I feel so good. I could run a marathon. Don't run a marathon, but you definitely feel like you could. And that's the energetic surge. And then the following day is when I started to bleed, which was just so fucking cool. So yeah, recognize that as well. But from that point, I trained Monday light arm session, and then I haven't trained for the rest of the week. I just take this time, and it's what I do personally and what I would highly recommend and encourage. Day 1 to 4, I don't do anything. I'll go for a nice walk, but at least day 1 and 2, zilch, nothing, because it's like maximum rest, ultimate rest. It's the most important thing. So that's what I do. And come day 4, as I slowly ease back in. Like you won't catch me in the gym or lifting weights just yet. I'm gonna go for a walk. I'm gonna boost that endurance and, you know, have a really nice stretch or whatever. And then I'll start back in the gym probably, what's today, Saturday, probably Monday. So it just gives me that beautiful time to just like recuperate, regenerate, and then go from there. So yeah. Anyway, I'm gonna get cooking on this brekkie, but I just wanted to mention, I'm not sure if I'll close this video out now. I know it's like not been, I feel like the episodes will be, all the episodes will be a bit different. But yeah, make sure you like and subscribe to my channel. And I've seen a lot of creators saying that, and I know it's like people cringe at the thought of like why people say that, but it's to get more eyes on your stuff. Essentially, it's so that I can get that support from you to reach other women. And so without liking the video, without subscribing to the channel, it tells YouTube essentially, nah, this channel's a flop. Don't push the content out, which is not what we want. We want more women, as many women as possible, to see this, to, you know, who may share this experience or who may be going through struggles with weight loss or have chronic stress and inflammation in their body that really need this education. So yes, even though I'm sharing my personal story, I'm also anchoring in the knowledge that I have, right? As a menstrual cycle coach, as a fitness trainer, as a breathwork practitioner, right? As somebody that works with all the systems basically of the human body or the female body, or I won't say all, but most. Yeah, I just feel like this education, it needs to reach as many women as possible. So that's where you come in, and I would really appreciate the support for this channel. That also it gives me motivation to keep creating this content too, this long form content for you to consume. So yeah, that's all I've got to say, but make sure you go do that, like and subscribe, hit the notification button as well, because then you won't miss anything. And also, I believe you can share. You can share and pass on the video to as many women as you think will benefit from it, because this work is really important. Okay, I'm going to leave it there so I can eat.